Hi, this is Sonya with Artsy Solutions, and I want to show you how I made some of these fall embellishments and the masses, because whenever I'm getting ready to make projects and stuff, I like to have like a lot to choose from. So I made some of these leaves, and I'm going to make some embellishments out of them. But let me show you what I used to make these, and then I'll kind of go into detail about how I made these. So I used a set of alcohol inks that I got from Bakers and Crafters, and I used red, brown, blue, and yellow. And I'll have a link in the description where I got all these from. And then I also used some tea and some coffee, which coffee is almost out. And these are, the tea and coffee are just in some little Dollar Tree spray bottles. And then I used some Glossy Accents. I used just an ink pen, just a regular ink pen. I used Stampin' Up Die Accents. I think that's what this is. Autumn Accents. It's a big die. I don't know if you can see that or not. There we go. Big Autumn Accents. And then I also used Tattered Leaves by Sizzix, Tim Holtz. And then I also used, let me set these down over here, some glitter, different kinds of glitter. And I'd gotten this case probably 5 years ago. I really haven't scratched the surface of using it all. So, and it's Recollections from Michaels. So I used different colors of that. So let me just show you some of what these look like. I had like different leaves, different shaped leaves, and I just kind of drew in the veins with the ink pen and went back over them with Glossy Accents, and then sprinkled on different colors of glitter. Well, no, before I did that, sorry. Before I did that, I just took scrap paper, and basically I just sprayed different colors of all of these on them, front and back, so that the leaves would have different color shades of, you know, you could see it on both sides. And then I used some Distress Oxides that I forgot to show you. I used Walnut Stain. Yeah, I think that's the only one that I used. I didn't use any other ones. And I basically distressed around the edges after I painted all these out, and then die cut them out with the dies. Then I went and drew with the ink pen the veins, and then went over it with what I distressed around the edges, and then went over it with the Glossy Accents and added some added some glitter on there. So each one of these are like front to back. I only have glitter and the shiny stuff on the one side, but it's still colored, and so that when I put them in clusters or whatever, you can still see the back of it in case it's lifted up, and you know. So I'm just going to do a close-up of some of these. So we have our different shaped leaves. I don't know the names of leaves. I never had to do a leaf project in school, so I do not know if it comes from an elm tree, if it comes from a whatever tree. I just have some leaves. So yeah. And I did the acorns. Some of them have like bling at the top, whereas others have it more so in the center. So you have your different ones. Now I didn't really focus too much on the back of the acorn because I figured most of it wasn't going to show anyways, but yeah. Here's some of them. But I really like how some of these leaves turned out. I love the different shades of it because it really gives it like that fall feel. And then I like the sparkle that it adds. So let me just go ahead and show you how I made it. And some of it's going to be in fast forward mode or fast-paced mode. So just sit back and hopefully you'll enjoy it, and maybe you'll even try to do it yourself. These are dry, and I'm just going to start making some different size leaves. And I'm going to use a combination of this Stampin' Up! Sizzix Bigs die. It has like different shapes of leaves and a little acorn. And then I'm also going to use the Holtz Tattered leaves. And then also they have different shapes of leaves. So I'm going to start out with the Holtz. I've got my base plate, my die, and I'm just going to place the paper. I have different size papers, and so I'm just going to cut them to fit the different shapes of the leaves that I want to cut. Okay, and then now I'm going to put my top plate on. And I'm going to run it back through again. Typically you only have to just run your, just die cut it once or run it through one time and it'll cut. But sometimes the longer you've had your dies and the more you've used them, the more they kind of, they don't cut as well sometimes. So, or papers get stuck down in them. Okay, so I'm liking how my leaves are turning out so far. They've got those fall colors that are like blended in together. So here's what we have so far. Okay, so we're just going to keep on making some, and I'm still keeping these scrap papers because I can use those for something else as clusters or something. I'm going to go ahead and do another set. And when I choose my papers, I want to make sure that they're wide enough to cover, to make sure that they get die cut all the way through, and not have like little pieces that didn't cut correctly. So I have to make sure that this paper's lined up just right to cut it. If not, I'll have voids in my leaves which I could still work with, but I prefer to have the entire leaf. And although this is cut or broke, not cut, it was broke, it still works. I do have another blue one, brand new one that I haven't used, but I have a tendency to hold on to things until I just cannot use them anymore. And right now this is still working. So, yeah. I love that one. I love the colors of that leaf. It's going to be fun when I start to assemble some stuff and turn these little leaves into little clusters, little fall clusters. Okay, so I think I'm try. That was the Tim Holtz Tattered leaves. Now we're going to use some of the Stampin' Up! Autumn Accents. Big autumn accents. Okay, so I have a collection of different things. I've got the acorns, I've got the bigger size leaves, and then I have some smaller leaves. So I'm going to distress all of them. And I'm going to use some of this Tim Holtz Walnut Stain Distress ink. And I'm going to start out with little acorns and just basically go around the edges. And for the bottom parts of the acorn, I think I'm going to make them just a little bit darker. And go around the edge. And I'm also going to darken the top part of it. This acorn already has some white color on it from the distress, the coffee, and the different other color inks. So I don't have to worry too much about that. But it's been distressed or colored in different shades of colors throughout the acorn. I might use this side for the acorn. So, and like I said, I'm going to make this bottom part just a little bit darker. And maybe even this little part right in here. To kind of make it look more like an acorn. I have this smooth upper part and then this kind of rugged middle here. You know. What do you guys think? So those are some, and you can have different ones. They don't always have to be like that. Some of them can be darker up here and lighter down here, and then some of them can be darker down here and lighter up here. So you can have a combination of however you want to do your acorns. And then I'm going to do the acorns like that, and then I'm going to do the leaves. I'm just going to go around the edges of the leaves. But I'm going to do both sides. And the leaves I might make a little bit darker down here on the stem. Like I said, I'm going to do both sides because leaves, when I make clusters out of them, you're going to be able to see both sides. So I'm just going to go ahead and make it to where it doesn't matter which side you show it from, it's going to pop. So I'm going to distress all these and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I finally got all of these distressed on both sides. And so I'm going to idle just a few of them and different ones. So starting with some of these little acorns, I'm going to zoom in. And I'm just going to take this ink pen and I'm just going to kind of highlight some of the areas of it. Just a little bit, not too much. Around the edges of it. To kind of give it dimension. And shadow. And then basically I'm going to take just a little bit of Glossy Accents as well as some glitter. Let me make sure this is opened up good. I had to buy some more recently because I was getting really low on it. Make sure it's going to come out. And I'm just going to kind of go around the edge just a little bit. Mainly like where I highlighted it at with the ink pen. Okay, and then I'm just going to take some of this chestnut glitter. Okay, and then there are two ends on here. You have like your sprinkle side and then like a bulky side where they can come out. I'm just going to sprinkle some on there, just a little bit, you know, because I don't want too much sheen. And then I'm just going to pick this acorn up and just kind of flicker off the rest of it. And we're just going to let that dry, and it has just enough to kind of pop, just enough sheen to make that little thing pop. And I'm going to add some of that same, I'm going to do the same process with this leaf and some of the other things. I'm just going to kind of go around the edges with this ink pen and maybe draw some veins. And I'm going to add some Glossy Accents around some of it. And then I'm going to add some more of this chestnut. And just sprinkle on just a little bit. And then I'm going to pick this up. And we're going to have the same result. And then I'm going to try some different colors with some of these other things. But first I'm going to finish up a few of these acorns using that same process. So on these leaves, I'm going to try and use a different color of glitter. This one's going to be Snow by Recollections. Because sometimes in fall you'll still have leaves, but you'll have like a kind of an early winter kind of look to it. So these leaves are going to be made with different projects. So we're going to have some for like early fall and late fall. And I'm going to add some glitter, some white snow glitter to some of these. Okay, so I'm going to take some of this white snow glitter, and I think I'm just going to sprinkle just a tad bit of this blue frost, just a little bit of it. Now I'm going to add this frost. Okay, and then I'm going to give some of these leaves the look as though they're wet. And so I'm just going to add just a couple of drops of like water, or what it's supposed to look like water, or drops of something, moisture. And I'm just going to add them to these leaves using Glossy Accents. So I'm just taking this pen and then going around the edges. And I'm not going to go around all of it, just some. And I'm going to use some of this apricot. So I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channels and check out my other videos and my blog and my other social media sites. And as always, I thank you guys so much for watching.